Hey YouTube people, today we're going to take a look at how to really cheaply and almost free make a fan that you can attach on the back of your Surface Pro 4 or Surface Pro 3. We know that doing this kind of alleviates some of the throttling issues, whether thermal throttle on the Surface Pro 3 or a power limit throttle triggered by the hand temperature sensor on the back of the Surface Pro 4. So in order to do that, many of you may have a little Intel cooler from an old computer lying around. If you do, we're going to take a look how to build a nice little clipping mechanism that will hook on the back of your Pro 3 or Pro 4 and will really help you get some extra benefit out of your processor. So let's get to it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do with this is unclip the heatsink from the fan. It has 4 clips on it. And it comes out pretty easily if you just pull it out like that, and you're good to go. Now, it has built in these little clips right here, which I think will be pretty useful on the Surface, and we'll see how that goes. So I actually decided to take all of these off. The best way to do that is to Dremel across this area, and then once that's off, you can pull it off and Dremel across this area, and then this black piece will be completely off as it is, as you see on this side. Okay, so once you've got those all Dremeled off on every side, you actually have this little clip system that works really well. You can just hang it on the back of the Surface, and it notches into place like that pretty securely. And it kind of positions it off the back and it stays on there really nicely. So let's go ahead and get the power wired up. So what you're going to do is you're going to use the black wire as the ground and the yellow wire as the power. The blue and green wires you do not need. They're for PWM. As long as you wire 5 volts onto the yellow and ground it on the black, you should be good enough to run this on a 5 volt. So we'll hook that up on the USB in just a second. So now I'm just going to solder, I've got this USB plug that I have salvaged, and I will go ahead and solder these wires together as so. So once you're done, you have something that looks like this, which will really clip onto the back of that Surface really nicely like that. And then it's just a matter of plugging it in. And there we go. Okay, let's see how our fan does in practice. So to start us off, I've got kind of a benchmark running in the background that is really just taxing the system as hard as it can. And you can see that stock with no fans, well, other than the internal fan, it's limited to 14 watts. And we're kind of, it's winter, we're in a cool room, so it's actually pretty cool in this room. The ambient temperature is low, probably about 65 degrees, so it's actually doing pretty well. If it's hotter temperature, you'll see it closer to 12 to 13. So anyways, let's go ahead and plug in our little fan that we just built. So we're gonna just super easily hook that over the back, and let's plug her in and see how many watts we get. You can see it drop to 13 there. So I've had this running for about, 15-20 minutes just to heat it up. So let's turn this on and see what kind of improvement we get. We also see the core frequency is 1.1 and 650 on the processor graphics. So it takes a minute to kind of cool things down, but you may be able to hear that that fan makes no sound. The Surface Pro 4 fan, you're probably hearing buzzing a little bit, but this fan is you can't even hear it. So there you go. It's basically taking the processor from 12, 13 watts up to 17 or 18 watts. So, not doesn't seem like a whole lot, but 4 to 6 watts actually is a whole lot of extra performance. You can see the processor graphics is going, it was at about 650, now it's up to 800, 850, and the core frequency went from about 1 to 1.1 gigahertz to 1.4 gigahertz. So you can also see that the frame rate's increased. You can see that the processor itself is actually a little hotter because it's able to do more work. So there you go. Now let's try a little comparison. We got up to 18 watts out of the little Intel fan, completely silent. Now let's plug this little bugger in. Hard thing about this is getting the angle right. It's pretty finicky. You kind of have to finagle it a little bit before you put it on there. But once it's on there, you're pretty good as long as you're not moving around. But let's see what this gets us to. And you're probably able to hear the noise on this particular fan. Okay, so there we have the Arctic fan, and it can sustain about 20 watts. So it does a little bit better. You can see that the processor graphics are more stable on that blue line on the Arctic fan. So there you go. Also know that if you apply even more fan power to the back of this, something like, I guess I should have done this earlier, but let's say you're using something like this little desk fan. Let's go ahead and see what that can do for us. So that little fan's getting us up above 20, up to 21. Now I'll go ahead and turn on the box fan so you can see how that looks. Got that running over there, just turn that on. So that box fan, if you get it pointed right, lets it sustain close to the maximum of the full 25 watts. Basically, you get 23 to 25 with the bigger fan going at it. So there you go, guys. A free clipping onto your Surface little fan here. It can take you from 12 to 13 watts to about 18, 19 watts, so a good improvement there. It is completely silent. You cannot hear it, especially against the SP4 or SP3's own fan. This Arctic Breeze fan is a little bit more money, $8 to $10. It's not really that much, but it does get you an extra 2 watts or so over this type of fan. And then obviously you can bump up to bigger and bigger fans to get more and more performance, but you start to run into some diminishing returns. You can basically sustain a full 25 watts though if you want, which is pretty nice, but getting 20 watts instead of 12 watts is a huge increase in performance that you can get with this little fan here. And it's cheap, it plugs right in the side, and if you get, it's a little finicky to get turned the right way, but it's really nice. But if you want something completely silent and free, this clips on and it's pretty cool. So hope this video has been useful to you. It just, I know these fan mods are ghetto, but it's kind of fun to see what the kind of performance you can get. And it really helps if you're, going to be at a LAN party or gaming with your friends, and everyone's going to say, oh, you shouldn't be gaming on a Surface device. But you know what? The Surface Pro 4 i7 can game really well. I just loaded up GTA 5 on it, and it's getting about 45 frames a second at 1600 by 900 resolution, which is nothing to sneeze at. It plays really well. So it's pretty powerful. So with these fans, you can really unlock its potential. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and please subscribe. We're happy to bring you more information on Surface and other tech stuff. So keep watching, and we'll see you soon.